Gee whiz, people bear witness. Thank you for letting us be ourselves.
Chuck D for the Real News Network. This is On the Real, Off the Record. Hey, I really, I could be speechless because there's so much to say about this brother who is an icon, my idol. He's just like one of the greatest MCs to ever touch the microphone. And since we're in a time and a day where people kind of look at hip-hop icons, or they look at the hip-hop art form as being the art form around the whole entire planet, you would be remiss to not even think that Run DMC is the reason that we're all here. It's the reason I'm here. And I like to, just tell you that DMC is in the house.
DMC in the place to be, Chuck
DMC in the place to be. And, in this time and day of President Barack Obama asking for accountability and the responsibility, and people looking at hip hop and rap music as being this great communicator.
So what they got, you think is hot, but the real things in life your soul forgot. Don't hear it on the radio or MTV, and I damn don't know about BET. Black is back. We got to get them straight. Black is back.
I've never heard MCs or rappers actually talking about real things that real people want to hear to real people.
It's a bad thing. Well, first of all, you got a lot of people in the business, those certain MCs who are probably 25 and up, but they're acting and dressing like children. So when Chuck D shows up and speaks on the issues of life, politics, economics, family, education, or when DMC does it, or when KRS-One does it, or, even when somebody like Nas does it, or, especially when Africa Bambaataa, or you hear Flash and them do it. When I go and speak to kids, I go to colleges and I go to high schools, and recently I started going into the middle schools, which is crazy, speaking to, sixth graders.
Seventh and eighth.
Yeah, that's really deep there, but a lot of the kids, and also a lot of my so-called younger peers of this new generation of hip-hop, they'll look at me and go, DMC, you're just saying that because, you're 40 years old now, you've been in hip-hop for 25 years, and, you're more educated and more mature. And I got to look at these young brothers and sisters and say, that may be true, but I've been saying this since I was 12 years old.
Right.
They don't know that most of the great rappers who, when you say hip-hop, the first names and ideas and music and images come to your head. They don't know that most of those rappers been writing like this since they were probably 12 to no older than, let's say, 23 years old. And what's bad about the situation with this hip-hop music is when you have the executives or the music business people go, hip-hop is a young person's music. And, you got people in the game who is doing hip-hop going, when I get 30, 35 years old, I won't even be doing hip-hop anymore. I think what happened over the years is that they took the value of what hip-hop meant to the audience, and they threw it in the gutter. I mean, even before hip-hop records was made, when you stepped to that microphone,
right,
you knew you had a responsibility. You look at Rakim, he could have made a record that said, I'm Rakim Allah, Mr. Stick-Up Kid, and I do all of this. Right. And he could have probably sold 60 million records, the way some of these artists who talk about those certain issues and conditions in our society. But he said, I used to roll up, this is a hold up. So all the stick-up kids and the drug dealers, that was even more inspiring to them, because here is a guy that is rocking the mic, who is like a god to them, who's talking about the things that we do or we had to do just to get by. Here's a guy that did it, but he's talking about it in a positive way. So these guys were inspired to say, yo, that's real cool. But it's different because the corporations or the companies or the media don't realize that hip-hop has a sacredness to it. Right. And it was always about responsibility.
On all parts, because, we were talking, earlier off camera, and we said what the difference is that when somebody like Jay-Z says he used to sell crack, and the media and everybody looking to do their particular job for whatever it might be, will upplay that
Right, exactly.
Instead of, upplaying the positive aspect, they'll go back. And where somebody like Rakim might say, what he used to do,
Right.
there was always a surrounding care and concern around hip hop that says, yeah, we know that, but we won't upplay that. We'll downplay that.
Exactly. If Rakim said that now, they would only focus, oh, he's a stick-up kid. And they would only go at him for more stick-up kid business and the dirt and crime. Like when I said, I'm DMC and the place to be, I go to St. John's University. They didn't focus on that.
I'm GMC, in the place to be. I go to St. John's University. And since kindergarten, I applied the knowledge. And at the 12th grade, I went straight to college.
It sent so many people to college. It sent so many people to St. John's.
I was just going to say that because there's an instance I'm on the radio and the dude will call in and say, yo, man, I'm from LA, and just for you and Run saying it. You didn't preach it, just for you and Run saying that, man, I dropped out the gang, I stopped selling drugs, I went and got a GED. And I got into community college, and I realized there was a whole world of opportunity that existed for me. And he said, that was because of hip hop. Man, I'm in $1 million house with 3 whips outside. That's just for you saying that. But when I look at Time magazines and Ford, they'll write about a rapper, former crack dealer turned CEO of his own company. And they'll play up this crack and they'll talk about how many bricks he cooked. And then the rapper's still rapping about the bricks that he cooked and stuff like that. They don't realize, like you said, this guy got 1 million people looking at him. And for me, it's not against a personal attack on these artists, or it's not against, I don't even know them personally, but when they write former crack dealer who is now CEO, it makes these kids in the hood saying it's okay to sell crack.
Right.
Because I could be famous, which is contrary. That's not true.
And it's the breadcrumbs that lead that, and anybody that thinks that they want to be an MC, which used to be like, okay, I'll tell the truth. I have these dreams ever since, Rappers Delight, if you want to go back to records, like Hotel, Motel,
Oh, you wanted
Holiday
a
Inn.
Lincoln Continental and a pool?
Right, he wanted those things and he tried to figure it out,
But
but
you
dealt
knew
with
there
the
was a
truth.
standard.
Right.
You knew.
Right.
Okay, for me to be a rapper, I got to clean up my act.
Right.
I got to say something positive.
Can't use
You
the
know what I'm
same
saying?
word over and over again.
It's like this. If you make a record about a gun with hip hop, I don't care about any other music. If you make a record about a gun, you have to, because it's hip hop. And the record companies, they need to hear this, and the artists today need to hear. If you make a record about a gun, you have to make a record about not using a gun. If you make a record about a bitch in a hole, you have to make a record about Miss McGillicuddy, because a lot of these rappers, they'll use the excuse, man, we only rap about what we see. I don't care if it's a dirt poor ghetto in Little Rock, Arkansas. Growing up, you knew there was that one lady who got up every morning, went to the bus stop, rode 2 hours to clean a house and came back. She sent all her kids to college. Rapper man, your responsibility is to rap.
Because you see
about
that, not only do you
that.
see that, but you know that. And so you're saying that, these elements surrounding over the last 25 years has led a lot of rappers who basically might believe one thing, but feel like they're forced to say another.
Exactly. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
And we